my students already do that, but if I do it through the state, they can get a seal on their diplomas when they're seniors in the graduate.
Oh, very good.
And then also, I just want to let the board know that effective this August, union leadership has changed for CFA. I am the acting president. I will be sworn in Monday, August 17th. Brandy Charette is the vice president. Janelle Asbury will be our secretary, and Trey Croft will be our treasurer. So if you need to get a hold of us for anything, that's who you get a hold of. And you'll get that in writing once all the committees and things are figured out. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. Anything else? All right. 6.01 consent agenda.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Go to the vote. Francis.
Aye.
Sabrina.
Aye.
Barb.
Aye.
Tiff.
Aye.
We'll go to one. Governance calendar.
So this is buildings and grounds assessment, and I think that's ours. So once a year, we're supposed to walk through all the schools.
They're actually two different things.
Okay.
Can I speak into it?
Mhm.
Okay, so I talked to Robert about that. He does the buildings and grounds assessment. There's some paper that he can submit to the state. His next month is the tour, because I had to look at those two and figure that out. And our MSGIA rep was here last week, Brenda Cope, and she did say, yeah, something that does have to be done and submitted for insurance purposes. And he said, I take care of every year. So, but he said he's never actually brought it to the board. They said I would ask you guys tonight if he did want him to bring whatever that report is. I haven't looked at it, don't even know myself really. It's an inspection that he has. They said I've never found it and that looking in board docs and that kind of.
The only thing we ever got historically was the MSGA.
Yeah.
So that's after he does his assessment. That was from them.
Yeah. And I did get an update from them just last week too on our part, what we're doing, which actually. But yeah,
The facility tour.
we can probably take this piece off then from here.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's just a review and no action.
okay, yeah, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we'd rather have the MSGA report in there, because that gives us more.
Yeah, I remember doing that with.
But we can schedule those tours of all the facilities whenever you, or if they want.
And we don't usually go to the quorum, so. And we can discuss it during.
Yeah, so whatever you want to, just get with Scott or Henry and we'll set it up. We have no old business. We'll move right on to new. 9.01, senior lunch open canvas.
Mr. Becker, I have items here to present to the board tonight.
Good evening, members of the school board. I'm here with Emma Stewart, and we're here on behalf of the senior class to ask that seniors continue to have the opportunity to leave campus for lunch this year. This has been a tradition for seniors in previous years. appreciate being given that responsibility. I brought copies of the rules that have been used in the past so you can see the expectations and guidelines that come with the privilege. If you'd like a hard copy, Emma can bring me one. We have hard copy at home somewhere too. Okay. We understand that leaving campus comes with a responsibility, and we're willing to follow the rules and accept the consequences if those rules aren't followed. We really appreciate being able to continue this tradition for our senior year. Thank you for your time and consideration. Do you have any input for us?
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the Colstrip High School seniors' request to be allowed to leave campus for lunch after they have turned in the appropriate paperwork for the 26-27 school year. I'll second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any public comment on this? Any further, board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
9.02, resignations for our information. Thank you all for your years of service. We appreciate that. Nine point oh three.
All right, I'd like to recommend to the board the hire of our administrative staff member, Peyton Allen, as Director of Technology. Recommend salary of $70,000. I would just like to say that, you know, we've had him as a tech supervisor for the last few months. The committee, myself, we really just believe that he's proven himself in many, many different capacities. He's a hard worker. I really appreciate how fast he gets back to me on everything, and it gives me a lot to do because he is pretty meticulous. So he's learning a lot also, but working hard to keep what Evan Stewart had as far as the whole customer mentality, serving our students, serving our staff, and just really taking care of everybody. So he's got a lot of know-how. And I've been really excited to work with him and everything he's taught me already. So anyway.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the administrative hire of Peyton Allen as Director of Technology for the 26-27 school year as presented. I'll second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any public comment on this? Any further, board? Keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was on the interview committee and Peyton interviewed really well, and I've been really impressed with everything he's done so far since he's been in the district.
Yes, especially when you don't do the stuff he tells you to do and he fixes it for you. So I appreciate
I listened on the first time.
Well, I want to say thank you. He's helped me a lot without calling me incompetent or a nuisance or stupid or whatever. But thanks for helping
He
me.
doesn't call you that? It just-
No, not once.
Okay.
Okay. With that, I'll go to the vote. Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
9.04, certified.
Okay, I'd like to make recommendations for the following certified positions. Do you want me to go?
Just one at a time.
Okay. I'll be bringing the first one, Laura Link, K-8 teacher, pending emergency authorization.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the certified hire of Laura Link, K-8 teacher, pending her emergency authorization. I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any public comment on this? Any further, board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
All right, next one, I'd like to recommend for the certified positions for the 26-27 school year, Elizabeth Christensen, K-8, and hers is pending licensure. She's really close to the provisional. I believe she was just waiting for her college for the last step of that. So she will either be provisional or emergency authorized, which might be just for a minimal amount of time, because she has everything that she needs as far as that. And she's applied and she's just waiting, so.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the certified hire of Elizabeth Christensen, K-8 teacher pending licensure for the 26-27 school year.
No second.
Okay, motion and second. Any public comment on that agenda? Any further? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Okay, those are the only two. I will not be bringing the third name to the board for hire tonight.
Move on to 9.05, district subs. There's a bunch from in there, from bus drivers to custodial. They run the gamut, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the district substitute list for the 26-27 school year as presented.
No second.
We have a motion and a second. Any public comment on this agenda item? Any further, board? Francis?
Abstain.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
9.06, certified sick leave committee.
All right, just going to ask you to approve the following names, following people for district required leave bank through the CFA, and that'd be myself, Scott Otremba, Katie Nozier, and Brittany Allen would be the members of that committee.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the following motion to appoint the administrative members to the District Leave Bank Committee for CFA, Scott Otremba, Katie Nozer, Brittany Allen.
No second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any public comment on this agenda item? Any further, board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
CCA.
Oh, yeah, classified sick leave committee, sorry.
They look a lot the same, but yeah. So we also have a required sick leave bank committee for the CCA, the Classified Association. And those three that I'm recommending tonight to the board are myself, Scott Otremba, Katie Nozier, and Brittany Allen.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the following motion to appoint the administrative members to the District Leave Bank Committee for CCA, Scott Otremba, Katie Nozer, Brittany Allen.
No second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any public comment on this? Any further, board? Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Nine point oh eight, handbooks.
Can we read all these names? Go through it real quick, or just?
I think we should discuss anything substantial.
Right, I
Affect
was just
the
gonna say,
community
is there
or
anything,
Well, substantial.
I know you
Go
really
ahead.
tried to align.
We'll share the wealth tonight, since we all share the work. So.
It was an amazing adventure. As you can imagine, when you have the same rule in 4 or 5 different handbooks, keeping it updated and current and accurate information is virtually impossible, right? And so we worked very diligently, Jen probably more diligently than anyone, put in countless untold hours. But what we did was we took the one handbook and we took all of the model handbooks and we combined all 3 schools and all the stuff that we could combine. That's all uniform. And then we did appendices on the back for each school. And we cut, I don't know, probably 100 pages out of handbooks and stuff. And we took the activities and everything and we rolled in what we could roll in so that there's more of a single point of information for parents and public. So it should be, as soon as everybody gets used to looking at it, a little bit more user-friendly. As far as the schools, we cut out some of the rules that were really appeared to be pointed towards maybe individual circumstances and things that happened in the past, and let it be a little bit more open to give the administrators some leeway in their decisions. But we did keep the behavior charts and all of that stuff is the same. So all of the core things are really the same. And I don't know, Jen, you're probably way more familiar with everything too than anybody, because truly she did the final edits, the final drafts, and put hours upon hours into it. So is there any other big things that we cut out of it or changed?
Well, there was some procedural stuff like hall passes for the high school. Like, what if you deviate from that and you changed? So that was something we took out because it was procedural, not necessarily a policy that needed to be followed. And the goal was a student handbook so parents weren't reading an elementary one, a middle school, and a high school one to really make it cohesive, because we aren't that large of a district that we need different rules, and a lot of it applies to the same. So that was the major piece. And then we looked at it from the view of who's reading it. Like the student handbook is for students and parents. If there was something else that pertained to somebody else, then that was removed, because we had a lot of overlap, as Mr. Bailey was saying. And then the same thing with the coaches and sponsors and the student activities handbook, who wasn't really geared towards. So the coaches and sponsors were probably already hired to do a job of an activity. So we left the list of what each activity was and put that in the student handbook. So that way if a student or parent was interested in what a club was doing or an athlete was doing and what were they learning, that was listed there versus the coaches and sponsors handbook. So a lot of it was, and just trying not to put stuff in 75 different handbooks for me to look at, because that's what I felt like. Transportation, when we sat down, how do you make it simplified for parents? And it wasn't, I can't remember how long the transportation handbook was. Was it 12 or 13? And so we took the transportation, because who rides buses? Kids coming to school, and then the athletes, and so those are the same, and just got rid of the transportation handbook. Because as you noticed, there was 3 rules for winter bus dress code in one handbook, but it wasn't in the transportation handbook and it wasn't in the activities handbook. So just trying to align all of those. Do you want to talk about eligibility? That was the major change for eligibility.
Don't pass it to me, because I don't know.
Mr. Slater did request that.
All right, so if you're off here and come back. Transportation handbook was folded into the student handbook.
Yes.
So it says it's going to be obsolete, but just because it's moved. I need to say that in the activities handbook, the meals, I thought the money for the meals was insufficient, so I added $5 to each meal. So breakfast will now be 14, lunch will be 15, and dinner will be 17. And we can talk about why, but if you've ever taken your kids anywhere, you know, right? The eligibility. So we went through and first thing we talked about was aligning both schools so they had identical eligibilities and when eligibility is pulled and how we did it. And then as we looked at it further, we decided that the day of the game would be addressed. If you were absent or you were someplace else when it was a game was practiced, then that would be up to the coach. And if you look in there, the day of the games, you have to be in school for 4 periods to be allowed to leave to go to your game, the first 4 periods on a game day. If you're leaving before lunch, then you have to be there at school before your team leaves. I think the other thing is too, as I'm looking at this, on the resolved part, it goes to 9, 10, 12, 13, 11 was left out. 11 should be student activities handbook. I'm not sure how we add that in there, if you see where I'm talking about. As you go from I put a board training, go whereas, and the next thing is type recommended action. If you look through all of those, student activities handbooks is missing. It's down in the others, so
Oh, it's right
I
here.
did for the record.
It is under.
Number 3?
Well, it's here and it's on the font, so I didn't know if that needed to be corrected for the record.
It's listed
Follow.
here, yeah.
And then I did cut out one opportunity. They pulled a warning list on Monday. Eligibility came out on Wednesday. Then by policy, they had one more chance, right? And I'm like, if you don't have it by eligibility day, I'm sorry. It is what it is. We've already given you a warning, and we're gonna toughen up a little bit on that. And I'll deal with all of the fallout of that, you know, but,
That makes it clear though.
And it will pull warnings at both campuses. I don't think that we were doing that before, so warnings will be at the middle school and the high school at noon on Monday. That'll be the warning. And then on Wednesday, the final will be pulled at noon, as well as homeschooled students or students that aren't in a brick and mortar. Their parents they were required, but they will be required to turn in a record of their child's grade. And if we don't get that by noon, then their child will be ineligible from noon that week till 11:59 a.m. of the following week. So we need to do a better job of emphasizing those things. What we really need to do is we got a lot of kids on the failure list every week, and that needs to change.
I agree. I'm glad you guys took a long, hard look at the eligibility, because that's been a mess for a while.
We all,
Open to interpretation, I guess. So I like the fact that it's not now. So, good.
I was really appreciate the team, you know, I was there for a couple of the full days and then the bus ride, or the bus rides. It felt like bus ride in high school because we were all doing our homework in the Suburban on the way to Helen and back and in Helen in the evenings. But especially when it came to Rich's handbooks, it was really cool to see that everybody, you know, was there helping out. It was great to have Michelle there too, kind of teacher point of view, mom point of view. She helped with some things, and so really helping out Rich, who was still fairly new, and Jen and different people kind of have the history here, some historical things, reasons why, reasons maybe not. So it kind of made it a whole lot more fun than sitting there reading all by yourself, or, you know, everybody in their little silos, right? It was together. And I've mentioned that already, but when you see it all, now you kind of know why. I've actually got a couple more coming to you too, but those will be next time.
Charting policy, Mr. Brady.
what's that?
Charting policy, we also changed
Yeah, there's a lot of cussing and discussing on those.
10 minutes.
Sorry, finish that.
If you're more than 10 minutes late to class, you're absent. They had a clause in there that was absent from class 15 minutes, like a kid was gone 15 minutes, they would then be marked absent. Well, I want to know where that kid is if they leave class and they're gone for 15 minutes. That's not really an absent issue, that's a I need to find a kid issue, right? So there were some little things like that were kind of left open to things that didn't really make sense to me. And so I had to tighten it up to where it works with my brain. And now it's, if you're more than 10 minutes late to class, you're absent, and we'll account for you every minute that you're there. So
And we aligned the middle school so that the high school and middle schools are pretty much spot on. So then we don't have that, well, this happens here and this happens here, and
We don't leave it open to interpretation. Good.
Agreed.
Well, and just kind of that whole alignment, you know, so parents aren't confused. I mean, Jen mentioned it, but we really looked a lot at who are you writing this for? Who's reading this? What is the purpose for? So,
You guys are amazing.
Yeah.
This is so good. When Scott was hired, we were like, the handbooks are a mess.
Handbooks.
I spent days and nights reading those things by myself. That's what I told these guys, like, try it on for size by yourself. I probably got through, I think, the school ones and employee, I think that's about it.
And then the little disclaimer I'd like to throw out is, we like to think that they're perfect, but I guarantee you we're gonna find places, you know, but we have to start somewhere.
Yep.
We had to start somewhere, so.
I appreciate all the work.
Yes, for sure.
Have you guys had time to look at the agreements from Tech? by chance?
We put those in there, didn't one of you say we found that in the past?
It was 2015, 2016 is the last time that they were approved. by the
Yeah, so
board.
we weren't 100% certain if we should or not, but then we did some changing. Peyton did some earlier on, and did you want to point any of that out, Peyton,
Yeah.
that we worked on? I know you ran it by me a while back.
So I completely revamped both agreements. We took a little bit what Evan had made a couple of years, actually last year. Kind of went off a little bit with that, but AI came in, some suggestions came in with AI governance. So a little bit of that went in, some big security changes went into that as well. A lot of accountability for students as well, including vandalism. What does that mean? What does that mean for our data network and our devices? Up the consequences a little bit. Ultimately, we're leading that to the building principal as well. But the big one is the staff tech user agreement. It's a lot of changes, and we look forward to if it does get passed and this does work well with staff and students, that we'd like to make this a foundational thing and go forward. But there are pretty significant changes in those agreements.
I'd like to say thanks for, addressing AI. I'm sure it's going to grow in the years, but, thanks for putting that in there in both the student and staff handbook. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, so do we need to obsolete some handbooks? Because we can't just approve them as presented if we're getting rid of them, correct? We need to obsolete specific ones.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts. I don't have a list of what we're getting rid of right now.
Transportation, CHS student handbook, FBMS student handbook,
And Pine Butte Elementary.
and Pine Butte Elementary
Oh,
student.
because they become one, I guess.
Because they're getting
Yeah,
added
right.
to the main handbook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, so I'm gonna make two different motions on this
I
one
got
then.
Yeah.
Okay, I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves to obsolete the following handbooks.
Yeah, there they
Um,
are. I missed that, sorry.
The Transportation Handbook, Pine View Elementary School Handbook, CHS Student Handbook, and FBMS Student Handbook. A second. Yeah.
Okay, motion and second. Any public comment on this?
Deanna Patton. We're curious why we didn't implement the no cell phone and the bathrooms. Because at the high school, it's a huge issue. I mean, it's a very, very large issue at the high school. And it was on my list for tomorrow. But anyways, and that's, because the kids sneak them into the classroom. They're doing things they shouldn't be doing with their cell phones. It's distracting. Every day, on average, per period, a teacher spends 5 to 10 minutes just dealing with cell phones. It's ridiculous. And they don't leave them in their lockers. They carry burner phones to pass off if they get caught with a phone. It is a huge issue. It's just definitely a concern from, a teacher standpoint. And I mean, I even enforce the rule with my own children. They're not supposed to have their cell phone on them at school. In their lockers, fine. They'll leave it in your locker. And I too, will make my own children accountable. That's it. Oh, and the bathroom issue, which that will probably be something we cover.
Anything else?
Dan Egan, and I apologize because you might have addressed this earlier, I came in late. The makeup time on a road trip for the students getting their schoolwork in. I was trying to find that in handbooks, and I didn't see it, so I could have just missed it. But that has been an issue with certain.
It's gotta be, go along with the guidelines, is whether they're gone for an athletic event, whether they're absent because they're sick.
Right.
Right, it'll be the same policy or the same.
Okay. The same amount of time. Okay.
Which is,
A day for every day gone plus maximum of 5 or something like that.
Okay.
Off the top of my head. So
Okay. Same process then.
Yeah.
Great.
to me, those are the same thing, right? I mean, the kids
Yeah.
done and gone, so they have to have their time to get to work.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
She mentioned that, why wasn't the cell phone problem addressed, and what's the answer? Is somebody gonna answer that?
I can answer it.
Go ahead.
That's a pretty big change in the school, and I wouldn't feel comfortable without doing that the right way, which means involving teachers and community members in that decision, and going through a process and having a plan in place. And it's not something that I'm really comfortable unilaterally bringing to the board without having some input from our stakeholders. And that conversation will be had as we progress throughout the year, because I do fully understand complications around cell phones and everything. So yes, it will be addressed.
So what is it in the handbook?
Same as it was last year.
What is that? You mind saying?
As soon as I get a meeting scheduled, I got some other fish to fry first.
I think she wanted.
No, I meant like, what
What
is
does it say in the handbook?
I'm just
Um,
curious what it is now.
It's not during, no cell phones allowed during class time. I believe they can use them during passing and at lunch. Or after school.
They're supposed to leave them in their lockers. Chrissy, are you asking about elementary, middle school, high school? Because they're all a little bit different depending on age.
That's why I didn't know what, I mean, I knew what the elementary was,
Yeah,
but
elementary, there's not allowed. I mean, they can keep it in their locker all day. They can't keep it on the wall. Middle school and high school are the same, I think.
Well, the middle school is supposed to leave theirs in their locker all day. They have them before school and after school, and the high school had the flexibility of having their cell phones between classes. So we left that exactly the same. Then can I address Deanne Egan's question about makeup work? So it's on page 43 of the student handbook. That's attached in the board docs, and then that says that they are given, let me get to page 43 again. Students are responsible for obtaining and completing all assignments missed during an absence. Makeup work will receive full credit if it is submitted within 2 days after the student's first absence back to school, plus 1 additional day for each consecutive day of absence, up to a maximum of 5 school days. For absences of more than 5 consecutive school days, the principal, teachers, and student will work together to develop an individualized timeline for completing and submitting missed assignments. In some circumstances, students may be required to complete assignments before a planned absence. Teachers and administrators will determine these situations on a case-by-case basis. Thank you.
Well, I want to say something, ask something else now. Is there an emergency? Parents are worried about contacting their student during the day if they don't have a cell phone. Is there an emergency plan in force now? So, can I give an example? The last period of the day, my granddaughter never did. I don't remember what her class was. She never used her phone or had her phone on her. But we needed to get in touch with her because she was going to stay at home, but everybody else was gone from the ranch, and she had to get on the bus to be there with her brother. And I'm not even sure how we got the message, because it's high school people, only have a couple minutes, 4 minutes to get to the bus. Short time to get the message to her, get her stuff, and get to the bus.
You still have you can still call the office, the secretary.
I was calling to call the office. They said, well, sure, we'll get it to her. I said, do you have a student runner? Well, not right now, but we will. So I'm not sure that they feel real anxious about it, because I think most emergency things right now are taken up with the phone. But if your kids are not using the phone, we have to have an emergency plan to get the messages to them.
I mean, I go back to when I was in school here. Call the office.
Right. So the office.
I'm sure the office, if it's important enough, you're gonna make sure that kid gets the message. I don't know.
Well, I think right now it's not. at the office wasn't necessarily, they're alerted that they need to have that in
We do
place.
get calls from the office.
What's that?
We get calls from the office to say so-and-so.
Oh, and they wouldn't call the office.
What?
They wouldn't call the room.
Oh,
They wouldn't call the teacher.
As a teacher, I've gotten calls.
Because I was pretty frantic about it myself.
When I worked at the elementary school, that's what we did. If a call came in after the student runner went to deliver notes, we just called down to the classroom and said, hey, so-and-so's gonna get on the bus. And if they needed the bus note, we'd just say, send Joey up to pick up his bus note, so he had it.
I think the procedure is in place.
At
and
the-
it's been addressed.
Right. They don't have to use it very often, yeah. So it kind of wasn't used.
Yeah.
So it's worried for me.
But we'll have full staff in our office here this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and I think just everything you're saying, I've been through lots of parent committees, we've run them where it's parents, student, staff on there, kind of advise principals that you want to get some input from student council, parents, staff on these big issues, so that we do know, okay, so that's a problem, right? Or it could be, how do you fix that? Because when you hear from the different entities, because you might hear from some teachers like, well, they interrupt my classes all the time, we want a different, you don't know what you're going to hear. But once you start listening to these people, then you do know, right? Then you plan around it and make it work. So that was some of the talks that we weren't just jumping into, let's end this, let's do this, so it wasn't just us doing all that. We did a lot to align and, cut out, as you heard, the redundancies or unneededs, and then the majority of the things were addressed, but still, I want to see those people involved and have more of that. So we hear it all the time, and I don't think we've really done a very good job of that. Just what you said, and once you make those decisions, you got to get it out.
Yeah, you kind of have to
You
have.
got to get it out.
One way or the other, yeah.
And that's where we're headed. That's the direction we're going. So I'm glad the teachers spoke up. We got a parent that spoke up. We got admin that spoke up. We start talking to the kids, they're going to give us their perspectives on it too, on certain things. So anyway.
Well, actually, it
Thanks.
seemed to come on what you can believe on the news, that Texas and West Virginia just passed state laws, no bells, no phones bell to bell, on any grade level.
It's going on. It is happening. But then if we do that, again, what are the problems then that are created? How are you gonna fix them? Rather than just say, we're done.
Yeah.
Not saying it won't happen someday. I'm not saying it will, but
Yeah. I think that like how Bart said it, they're not perfect. It's a good start, and we'll continue to have community feedback and discussions.
It's way better than we were a year ago.
well, they want it user friendly.
Well, right.
So they will read it.
And they needed to be cohesive district-wide, so that's you guys have done a great job. And we'll get there. So,
Sorry, Jen, I came in at the very end of yours. Was it will receive full credit or may receive full credit?
Let me open that back up.
Sorry.
Nope, that's okay.
There's a problem.
Then I got it right here.
Okay.
I just looked up. Makeup work will receive full credit if it is submitted within 2 school days after the student's first day back to school.
Okay, that's full credit if they get 100% on it. Correct?
Yes.
all right. On that first motion, Francis.
Aye.
Sabrina.
Aye.
Barb.
Aye.
Tiff.
Aye.
Okay, I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the following handbooks for 26-27 school year as presented. Preschool Special Education Handbook, Coach Sponsor Handbook, Student Activity Handbook, CHS, nope, not that one.
Transportation.
Colstrip Public Schools Student Handbook, Staff Tech User Agreement, Student Tech User Agreement, Course, CHS Course Description Handbook, Colstrip Public Schools District number 19 program narrative and program narratives for special education.
I'll say.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any public comment on this? Any further board?
Did I get it?
Can I have a comment about the program narrative?
Yeah, I've been wanting you to do that.
So with the, I forgot about the program narrative, that was beginning in June. OPI is requiring all of us to do a program narrative for special ed, so they reviewed it. They said that it was good to go, and then there's an appendix on it because their beautiful text boxes they created only allow so much font, and then you can't shrink the font. It's like, this is the size it stays, and so since there's so much words in the box, we had to make an appendix. So in case someone printed it out, that you would have it on the back. So that's why there's two documents and there's not a special ed handbook anymore. As required by OPI.
Okay.
And the GT handbook is not in there because the state does not require it. But I will be working on creating kind of what our procedures are to identify students and what then we do. And then we'll just put that on the website. It's on the list. It's just,
Okay.
Sure.
might be getting further down the list, but it's there.
Sorry, you said a GT handbook?
Gifted and
Yeah, the
talented.
gifted and talented, yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. With it, Francis.
Aye.
Sabrina.
Aye.
Barb.
Aye.
Tiff.
Aye.
Okay, 9.09, board training.
We're just making them aware, there's the,
We have that available if you want. That Essentials is a pretty good one, Barb. I would recommend if you have time to do that one. It's all on the MTSBA website. You can get, there's so much. Kind of the basics, it's just kind of getting started. And the open laws are pretty good one to go over every now and then too, so.
can I jump in, Steve? So September 28th, we have Professional Development Day, and Tony Koenig is going to present a 4-hour training for staff on Title IX. So I originally signed up virtually, but if we want him here to go over anything with the board, I talked to them about going over some things with me and with Becca in the office. If there's something that he does, if you want him here to do some stuff with board, because I'm talking about like board agendas, improving that for us that are still fairly new at it. Anything else, just, let me know, because then we still have time to say, instead of virtual, we'll have them come out here. If you go through some things, have a lot of questions, just let me know, and I will work on that training.
Okay. 9.10, administrative duties.
Okay, each year, we bring to the board our Title IX coordinators, and this year we're going to be recommending Bart Bailey and Jen Arneson, and then homeless liaison, Bart Bailey and Jen Arneson.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approve the following administrative duties as assigned. Do I have to approve it?
No,
It says information.
it's just information.
Strike that.
Yeah,
Or not.
no, we don't need to.
Okay.
It's brought to you.
Brought to me.
She said as presented.
I will not-
Yeah, I need the training. I need help.
Okay, 9.11, they're out of district. At this point, I'll close this meeting. We'll go into executive session. We'll go through these real quick. We'll come back out.
Both are back.
Both are back?
Yep.
Okay. I'll bring this meeting back to order, so.
I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approve the minutes from the executive session.
Second.
With that, I'll go to the vote. Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye, sorry.
Aye.
Okay. I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees approves the FP14 student attendance agreements for the 26-27 school year for students number 176 and 167.
My second.
Okay, a motion and a second. And with that, I'll go to the vote.
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye. Right.
I need one more.
Yes.
Okay. I move the Colstrip Public Schools Board of Trustees does not approve the FP14 student attendance agreements for the 26-27 school year for students 173, 175, 177, 179, 189. 181, 181. I don't know if we can pass that back to Sarah.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion second. With that, I'll go to the vote. Francis?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
Barb?
Aye.
Tiff?
Aye.
Aye. For that. Mr. Earl?
Take it away, huh? Okay. I've kind of given an update from the summer. The last couple weeks ago, I wasn't able to get a report in. So we'll just go back a little bit. So earlier I took part of the MUS Rural Talent Lab Minority Listening Session at the Colstrip EIC building, so the new building. There was a room full of people. Basically the Montana University system wanted to listen to schools and see how they might help rural schools, particularly with all of our issues. And they just listened to things. And I think really big takeaways were the certifications, endorsements, and things that we really want to see our kids get that live in these areas. And so kind of as a follow-up, while I was at the meeting, I scheduled a meeting with Ron Slinger, the president of MCC, and he came and met with myself and Mrs. Nozier and Mr. Bailey. And we have some things that we'll be hoping to work on, some new classes in the future. It does not have that welding certificate yet, that program, so we were hoping, but no. But we did get a lot of those health classes in and some other things this year, but we're just gonna keep working with those with them. They have some really cool things for seniors, especially going into working on resumes. There was a personal finance class. The other one was, I forget what the name of that one was, but it was basically to have them prepared for like post-secondary ed or whatever their decisions would be. So we didn't have time to get that in this year's course description, but we might even get it in for second semester, some of those two classes. But anyway, it was neat just to be a part of it, the school districts. The next week, we had the governor here, so just more or less a meet and greet at that same building. I've been working quite a bit on principal searches and interviews. We've offered to a couple people, but really due to housing. One was their house where they couldn't get rid of it. All the money was tied up there. And the other one just couldn't afford to make a move because of her own situation. And we interviewed 2 more people today. But as of now, we don't have any offers out there. So Katie's doing interim at the middle school, and I'll be doing interim at the elementary school. Here coming up shortly. So anyway, we'll be filling those within house until we find somebody that really fits our needs that will be, again, a really good match for our district. And I've just sat in on several other interviews as the summer goes that way with not a lot of people around, but anyway, getting a lot of positions filled as you saw tonight. Worked on plans for the FBMS teaching assignments, kind of headed that up back in June, contacted them, did some shuffling around here just even the last week or two, working with Katie on that. So I think we've got FBMS pretty much in place. So again, hats off to her helping me out there. Completed the last piece of the teacher apprenticeship scholarship application. If you remember me talking about it kind of throughout the year, is a new program in our state. And so it took a long time because I think they were kind of building the plane as they flew it, OPI, but basically as we went through it, you could have somebody who is on emergency authorized or a paraprofessional in your district be in this program. So I worked with probably about 7 or 8 people in those entities to begin with. And at the end, we ended up with Matthew being the only one that really finished or qualified for Western Governors. So Matthew Gibson, congratulations to him. He's a para for our district, and he is now studying to be a math teacher, and he will be getting tuition paid for through this program. So we got a mentor set up for him. There's a lot of requirements for the program. There is a lot of hoops to jump through, but he is excited, and we're excited about him getting that. So that's really pretty awesome that we're going to get a teacher. The state got that program going for us. So congratulations to him. Worked at the ACES Consortium. I'm getting to know Jenny Combs pretty good. I know Katie, back when Derek was here, Mr. Bailey, all I worked with her. We had to work on some mentorships for our teachers. One of them was through this program. So, and then a couple of our brand new teachers that we wanted to get matched up with the mentor to help them out. They're not on their own, especially people on emergency authorization. We made plans and arrangements for capturing kids' hearts. That's been quite a bit of work, to be honest with you. So I'll be very happy when they get here next week and get that training going. It's been a little bit like the apprenticeship. Every time I turn around, there's another thing that I have to get to them. So good stuff, though. I'll tell you what, I'll be hitting, just kind of touching on the speakers and things we did at the Elevate conference in Helena a couple weeks ago. And I will say by far and away, the CKH, we call Capturing Kids' Hearts CKH anymore, the very best presenter. Not just our district saying that, but other people too. That is a quality program that we're bringing into our district. So, and still just excited to see that get going. So the Elevate conference, took a small team with me. They're all in here. Well, Michelle came with us too. Learned quite a bit of things she can bring back, but I was going to write something up, get something more formal. I just haven't had the time. I will say that it was one of the better conferences, especially like a state conference and not a national conference that I've ever attended. It was run kind of like a national conference with keynote speakers, breakout sessions. Garth Larson spoke a lot about, the proficiency, standards-based education. And so he talked about clarity, brought me back to like the number one factor in improving student achievement is teacher efficacy, teachers working together, teachers sharing common goals. Anyway, so that was good. Talked a lot about growth mindset, and he really kind of got into nuts and bolts and nitty gritty of how to do that. So that was really good reminder and good training, I think, for our principals. Then one session that I went to, I really liked. It was called the Regulated Leader, Managing Regulation to Support School Communities. Because we always talk about kind of having our pulse on students, right? What's happening with the students? How are their emotions? How are they being affected by whatever traumas, whatever's going on? What about teachers? What about those people that you work with all the time, each and every day? So she was a fabulous presenter. So I brought back ideas that I'll be sharing with my admin team as we go on through the year about how to do that and stay in touch with the people with each other. We all kind of need that ourselves, and with people that we evaluate and supervise. Let me see. It's kind of a mix of activities too, but we had a breakout session for superintendents, so I got to meet more superintendents in the state and listen to some of those issues that we deal with, so you kind of know you're not alone. Good pizza one night. They did have some pretty good food there, I'll tell you. They try to do the whole thing, free ice cream. Yeah, we had ice cream every day. That was always a highlight for me. Anyway, I'm talking too much. How about you guys, besides all the weight we gained and
I feel like that was all we did was eat.
Yeah. I think with stress eating is we worked on handbooks and tried to listen and tried to do things and answer questions that were still going on back here via email or text we're getting. You multitask when you go to a conference, I'll tell you. So what about anything?
Different tech sessions, how people are using AI, some things like that. That was pretty good. So it's definitely worth my time.
I think I'd heard Garth Larson, I think 3 other times before this one. And I think in my position now, the one thing that really stuck with me was his levels of decision-making. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what that, there's some decisions that just have to come down the pipe, and then there's other ones where you collaborate. And so I think that was stuck with me, especially this time around.
Yeah, Garth said something too that kind of, we all know that we're kind of responsible for the culture in the building, right? We talk about it all the time. But he said, no, you're responsible for the culture in every single classroom in your building too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of hit home to me.
Yes.
Like, pay attention to details.
Yeah.
I think what stuck out to me was, I can't remember which speaker it was, but they said, is it a challenge or is it an opportunity? So like, just changing your lens. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to learn versus like, oh, this parent again, or this student I'm seeing again. It's an opportunity. So focus on it being a positive thing versus always being negative.
And then, I can't pronounce his name, the one that we thought was maybe a little weaker out of Chicago, but he did a really neat thing where he talked about the most important thing, because he kind of hit on all these responsibilities when it comes to administration. I mean, you guys here, right? We're talking about buildings one day, and does the sync work to how's this teacher doing, and how are you training them to technology? And every leader in a school district deals with all of those things. Communications, written things, courses. And he said, but kind of back to what Katie said a little bit, he said the most significant thing though is to be an instructional leader, to lead. And so he hit on those things, to lead the instruction that's going on, that's going to really affect the achievement of those students, right? So the principal working with the teachers, working with the kids. And that all has to come together and not lose that focus. And, you have to schedule and fight for that time to get into classes, but that's what we talked about, getting to every class as often as you can to be there. So anyway, great conference. Really, really glad we went. I almost begged it because we had so much going on. I think I brought it up 2 or 3 times. Do we really have to go? Should we go? Should we just stay here and work? It's like, no, we're going. Working in the conference.
We did.
And we did, and at the hotel room. I would take a break and get on the treadmill. Like, I can't handle all this stress. I got to exercise. I come back dripping wet. These guys would still be out there, 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I'd just say, okay, what questions do you have for me? Then I'd take questions. No, it's a great group. It was great. A lot of fun. So a lot of collegiality built. So getting to know each other. Worked a lot with Jim Atkinson and Amber Heard over the summer, getting ready for the Energy Open. So that was good for me. I had never really kind of headed all that up, so I did that this summer too. Continued with the bi-weekly meetings with McKinstry on the bond project. That's been really awesome to listen and learn and see how much they're doing and really how well it's coming along for as much as they're doing in a short amount of time. It's not just, get it done. It is quality work. If you've seen the playground, if you've been up watching any of the construction up there, going through the bathrooms, besides that one door, I still got to get fixed. Dang it, I forgot that. All right, the handbook thing you heard about, worked on out-of-district applicants. The admin team got together to go over that last round that we had tonight. And then I've been taking questions and starting to dip my toes a little bit into Pine Butte as the interim, and I'm already going to thank Kenda for everything she's doing and arranging and the duty schedules and all those things that have to happen that people don't realize over the summer, you don't just walk into school, it just magically occurred, all those schedules and
Right.
somebody had put all this together. So she's the one doing it right now and sending them on to me, and Bart's mentoring me. So thank you, Bart.
Wonderful.
Well, good. I'm excited about the admin team moving forward. I know, take our time. We'll find somebody that'll fit that elementary school. I'm glad you're doing it for now. We're not just putting a body in there. So,
I love the positivity,
so
just even tonight in the meeting. I just think it's great.
Yeah, I really like that camaraderie around the admin team. It makes me feel really good because I know there's open communication. You guys are, again, challenging each other and improving things. And there's that safe place to ask questions and also bring new ideas. So thank you guys for all that.
Those trips are good because you do get to know each other a little bit better and, you know, care about each other, not just in the workplace, but, you know, you just learn a lot about families and, you know, people are people everywhere, real people. And the more we can do that, and do some good stuff with our staff coming in next week now, I'm excited about that. So, yeah. See some of those plans start happening.
all right. Good job, guys.
Thank you, thank you.